this video we're going to look at completing the square. And completing the square is just another way to solve a quadratic. So when we're solving a quadratic, once again this method is going to help us. So the first thing we want to do, let's get down some steps first. If you already know the steps, you can just kind of skip through this part. So the first thing we're going to do is rewrite our equation so that it looks like this. Ax squared plus bx equals c. So essentially we want to get x squared and x on the same side and then all of our numbers over here on the right side. Well, numbers without variables. So then step 2 is we're going to divide everything by a. So we're going to divide a on both sides so that it becomes x squared plus bx equals c. All right, so we're going to divide our whatever's the coefficient for x squared, we're going to divide that out. The third step is we're going to actually complete the squared. Here's how we complete the square. We take b, we divide it by 2, and then we square that. So that's how we're actually going to complete the square. So complete square. Now, we're going to take that result and we're going to add it to both sides. So whatever this gives you, you're going to add to both sides. And that'll make more sense when we actually go through an example, but for now, this is just a quick overview. All right, so that's steps 1, 2, and 3. So now let's take a look at steps 4, 5, and maybe there will be like a 6. So let's say, all right, step 4. Now for step 4, we're going to factor, and we're going to notice that we end up with a perfect square trinomial on one side. Now, we'll get into what that means in an actual example, but just know that's what we're going to end up doing. We're going to factor something which is going to allow us to then square root both sides. So we're going to take the square root, both sides, and then we're going to solve. All right, so there's 6 steps here, but once you get the hang of this, it's not as bad as it seems. So let's look at a few examples. And I'll try to make this quick. So the first thing we're going to start off with is x squared minus 18x plus 56 equals 0. All right, so once again, we're trying to complete the square. So the first thing we want to do is get this x squared minus 18x on one side by itself. So we're going to subtract 56. And we're going to move that to the right side. So now we have x squared minus 18x equals negative 56. Now, we're going to divide out any coefficient in front of x squared. But if our coefficient's 1 and we divide everything by 1, then we're basically anything divided by itself is just 1. We're playing that whole game. So dividing by 1 here is not going to change anything. So step 2, we're good. Now we're going to do step 3. And remember, step 3 is b over 2 squared. And that's going to give us our cheat code for completing the square. So now, in this situation, b is in front of x, so b is negative 18. So we're going to take negative 18, divide it by 2, and then we're going to square that. So negative 18 divided by 2 is going to give us negative 9, and negative 9 is going to give us 81. Now, we take this and we add it to both sides. So add 81 to the left, add 81 to the right. And now we're completing the square. And the square we're completing is actually this left side. So when I rewrite it, hopefully you'll understand it a little bit more, especially when we factor, you will. But here's what we've just created with this. We've just created a perfect square trinomial. There's 1, 2, 3 terms. And you're going to see when we factor this, it's actually going to give us factors that are the exact same. And that's what we would call a perfect square trinomial. All right, so what we do to the left, we also have to do to the right. So we're going to do negative 56 plus 81. That's going to give us 25. All right, so now we're to this point. X squared minus 18x plus 81. I think this would be step 4. We're going to factor this left side. So you'll see when we factor this, what's 2 numbers that multiply to give me 81 and add to give me 18? Well, negative 18, that would be x minus 9. and x minus 9. So whenever that happens, because these parentheses are repeating, that's how we know that we're doing this the correct way. Because that should always happen. As long as we're completing the square correctly, this should happen. All right? So now, let me clear this for a second. Let's see what we do next. So x minus 9 times x minus 9 equals 25. Now, if you remember, probably from the past, you can rewrite these two parentheses by condensing them down to one parentheses and writing it squared. Because x minus 9 squared is the same thing as x minus 9 times x minus 9. Now, once we have this set up, this is step 5, where now we can get rid of this exponent 2 by taking the square root of each side. So, x minus 9 comes out by itself, but remember, when we square root, we actually have to say plus or minus 5, which is the square root of 25. All right, so don't forget that step. That's a key step here. All right, so now we can solve this by adding 9 to both sides. And this may look a little odd, but if you rewrite it, x equals, you can say 9 plus or minus 5. Now, some people would get here and say, well, that's my answer. But we can actually perform the operations here because 9 and 5 are like terms. So here's what ends up happening. The plus and minus is actually two cases. One case is 9 plus 5, and the other case is 9 minus 5. So in this case, we would say 9 plus 5 is 14, 9 minus 5 is 4, so x is equal to 4 and 14. So those are our two answers. And now we've just fully completed the square and used completing the square to solve. All right, let's look at another one. And we're going to make this one a little bit harder, but I just want you to see a few examples just so you can have an idea of what this looks like. So let's say we want to, factor, let's do one that's a little bit harder. Maybe we'll do, let's see, 3x squared minus 30x equals 69. All right, so once again, we're going to try to complete the square here. And I would suggest you pause this, try to solve this on your own and see if you can go through the steps. All right, so the first thing we're going to make sure we do, if we're completing the square, we want x squared and x to be on the same side equal to a number. And that ends up happening here. So we really don't have to move anything as far as our terms. But what we do need is this x squared to not have 3 in front of it. So we're going to have to divide it out. Now, when we divide this 3, it also has to divide by every single term. So it has to divide here, and it has to divide here. So that would give me x squared minus 10x equals 69 divided by 3 is going to give me 23. All right, so now I'm all good to start completing the square. But remember, we have to do b over 2 squared. That will tell us what we are actually going to use to complete the square. So b is negative 10 divided by 2 squared. That would give me negative 5 squared, which would give me 25. So now once I have what I need to complete the square, I complete the square by adding it to both sides. So we're going to add 25 to both sides, which is going to give us x squared minus 10x plus 25 equals, let's say that would be 48. All right. So once again, when we are completing the square, we have to make sure we remember this setup. B over 2 squared, because that's the cheat code to actually completing the square, getting the number to complete the square. All right, so now let me clear this so that we have plenty of room. So x squared minus 10x plus 25 equals 48. So now, I believe this was maybe the fourth step. Yeah. The fourth step was our factoring step. And we're going to factor this left side. And it should factor to give me two parentheses that are the exact same. So let's make sure that happens. 25, two numbers that multiply to give me 25 and add to give me negative 10 would be x minus 5 times x minus 5. Now, when you get really good at this, you'll be able to go ahead and start writing this as x minus 5 squared. And you probably won't need this step, but I'll write it anyway just in case. All right, so we have x minus 5 squared equals 48. And now we can get rid of this exponent 2 by square rooting both sides. Just remember, when we do this, x minus 5 comes out by itself, but this becomes plus or minus the square root of 48. All right, now we need to solve for x, so we're going to do that by adding 5 to both sides. Now, before I do that, here's what I would do if I were you. I would go ahead and simplify this radical. Now, 5 and a square root 48 are not like terms, so they're not going to add together, but I would go ahead and take the square root of 48 and break it down. That way you're already good to go with your final answer once you add this 5 to the right side. So the square root of 48 we could break down. The biggest perfect square that divides 48 would be 16. We could say that's the square root of 16 times the square root of 3, so it's 4 radical 3. So when I add 5 to both sides, I would just make sure that I keep 5 in front of the plus or minus. So I would say x equals 5 plus or minus, then we can add in our 4 radical 3. And that's actually our answer. Because once again, 5 and 4 radical 3, those are not like terms. That would be like trying to say 5 plus x. And those are not like terms. So this would be our final answer. Once again, a good tip I would give you is to break down this radical to the side and use it in your final answer. When you add 5 to both sides, put this number in front of the plus or minus, not after. Because it looks a little odd if you say plus or minus 4 radical 3 plus 5. It just is an odd setup. You won't see that a ton. All right, so let's look at one more. And in this answer, we're actually going to end up with imaginary numbers or complex numbers, depending on how you look at it or how you define those. So let's do x squared plus 12x plus 43 equals 0. All right, so once again, the first thing we want to do is get this x squared plus 12x by itself. So we want to subtract 43. That's step number 1. So x squared plus 12x is equal to negative 43. Now, the second step is to use this 12 and figure out how we can complete the square. And we can do that by b over 12 squared. Hopefully at this point you're pretty good with these steps thus far. So let's see, 12 over 2 squared would give me 6 squared, which is 36. So 36 is going to complete the square if I add it to both sides. So we're going to end up with x squared plus 12x plus 36 equals, that would be negative 7. All right, so now we're on to step 4, which is our factoring step. And once again, this whole left side should factor to give me 2 parentheses that are the exact same. And if you look, 2 numbers that give me 36 and add to give me 12 would be positive 6. So x plus 6 times x plus 6. There we go. Now, if these 2 parentheses repeat, once again, you can just rewrite this as 1 parentheses squared. And that's equal to negative 7. All right, so now let me clear this to give us plenty of room. So once again, x plus 6 squared is equal to negative 7. Hopefully you're already seeing this, but when I get rid of this exponent 2, I'm going to square root both sides, and now you can see I'm doing the square root of a negative number. So that's where our imaginary number, or I, is going to come into play. But remember, when we square root both sides, we have to add in this plus or minus. Now, the square root of negative 7, first we take out this negative and replace it with I on the outside, and then we leave 7 on the inside. Now, I can't really do anything with 7. 7 does not have a perfect square that will divide into it other than 1. So I'm just stuck here with that, which means all I have to do is get rid of this minus or plus 6 by subtracting 6. And once again, when you write this answer, you want to leave this minus 6 in front of the plus or minus and then put I radical 7 last. So that would actually be our answer, which looks a little odd, but it would be perfectly fine as an answer. So once again, that's completing the square. Hopefully that helps you. Feel free to reach out if it doesn't and you need any extra help. But that's the quickest way we can do completing the square. Once again, the best advice I would give you is to follow the steps. Like if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, all these different steps, just go through and start going, checking off each step as you go through it. And then eventually you won't even need your notes or anything you've written down. You'll just be good to go.